Hi, everybody. My name is Paula Carnero Cox. I head marketing and business development for WonderBotz. And today I have the distinct honor of introducing you to our WonderBotz MVPs. Now, our MVPs might be dubbed and named as such by some of our partners, but we at WonderBotz value our talent more than anything. It's the stories that we tell, it's the work that we produce for our clients, and ultimately, it's the outcomes that matter. And these guys do this every single day. And so I'm really excited for you to not hear it from a marketing person, not hear it from a case study. You don't have to go to the website. You can hear it here just from them, what kind of technologies they use, the type of clients that they've been helping get their automation journey off the ground, and some of the new initiatives that we've seen with AI coming on the scene. So today you are in for a treat. You're going to hear directly from them some of the technologies they use, some of the clients they serve, and the way that they continuously learn. Because guess what? It's not a one-time thing. It's not like you go to college and you get a degree and then you're done forever and ever with that portion of the education station. These guys are continuously learning, contributing to the community, and with the advent of technology changing so much every single day, it's imperative for them to stay on the pulse of what is next. And that's what we rely on them to do every day for us at WonderBotz internally while we drink our own Kool-Aid, and then what they do externally for our clients and how they serve our partners in a very meaningful way. So gentlemen, thank you so much for joining. We wanted to start off by giving you guys, if you've been part of these webinar series, you know that we like to take a little bit of a view from the field, right? And give you a little taste of what the analysts are saying, seeing what it is that's changing in the landscape of technology. And in this particular case, the rise of talent. Now, we know at WonderBotz, because all we do is intelligent automation, RPA, automation, AI, day in and day out. This is our core competency. So we know that the labor market is crunched. Organizations who are trying to find talent and build up their COEs are no longer in the hot seat for finding the best and the brightest, because guess what? We took them all. So you got to come to us to find them. But not only that, it's important for everybody to know too, that as talent grows within your organization, even if you do have a COE that's in-house, you're never going to be able to maintain, run, and operate and learn in an efficient manner. So partners like WonderBotz help assist where there's not time for organizations to carry on that core competency of intelligent automation. So let's get started with a few little intro slides for you guys to kind of see where we're at in the rise of talent in the age that we call AI. So the evolution of AI is what we're talking about today. And I'm so thrilled and just absolutely honored to be able to introduce this concept to you. And again, this wonderful, talented body of humans. And this is just a sample set of all of our wonder humans. So the evolution of AI, matching talent to outcomes. If we take a look at how things have changed over time, it's been a pretty interesting journey for us in the practitioner space, right? We've seen a whole bunch of different types of robots and different types of ways that organizations are explaining and then adopting different types of this entire puzzle. We've also seen a number of ways that people have introduced this concept. But what we're really talking about at the end of the day is structuring your data and making it do something in an organization. At the core of what we do, we are creating business outcomes. We are solving business challenges with the use of technology. So if you see how the evolution of artificial intelligence has taken place, you know, we go from what we think of as kind of the Industrial Revolution, where it began, right? And I think there's been some misconception along the way for us as practitioners in the software space to explain to people, well, no, it's not exactly a robot. It's not an R2-D2 situation that's going to show up and start hacking away at your keyboard, right? These are software robots that we are able to build. That's what we'll be talking about today. Software robots that have gotten more intelligent because of the advent of other technologies, adjacent technologies that make them smarter, better, faster. And then, of course, with the infusion of AI, we have access to data that we were unable to, as humans, consume. And we're able to put that to work as well. So if you look at the progression of the different types of technologies, these gentlemen are going to be going into different areas and different elements in today's modern version of that. Of course, what we see in the future of AI, we'll talk a little bit about Gartner's new term for us. Us as practitioners, we're used to it. They keep coming up with a new name, what guys, every year? We come up with a new name of how to categorize and classify this industry that we're in. And so what we're going to ultimately see is the future, which is an orchestration, automation, and ultimately just making sure that transformation at the digital level is first and foremost priority for every organization. IT executives see the talent shortage as the most significant adoption barrier to 64% of emerging technologies. Now think about that for a second. We can have all the technology we want, but at the end of the day, if you don't have the humans who know how to use it, operate it, and execute it, it's of no use. It's not valuable. The talent that's able to operate the technologies that we rely on as business professionals today is what really makes this whole world tick. And so it's imperative for us as practitioners at WonderBotz to continue to make sure that the talent that we have is harnessed and that they're teaching us and telling us, this is what we're seeing in the field. This is what our clients are asking for. This is what the next wave is going to look like. We have to get ahead of it. And we take what they teach us and put it towards our solution sets, the outcomes that we generate for clients, and ultimately some of the new innovative ways that we solve business challenges. So the barrier for adoption and the barrier for putting to work things like AI, some of these buzzwords that we've heard of over the last 9 to 10 months, that every executive is asking for an AI implementation, talent is key to executing that on time and under budget. So if we take a little look at some of the additional areas and what it is that people are talking through and how it is that we've been talking through this, here's some of the different ways that we've been classified. And gentlemen, you will all recognize every single one of these, right? I used to call it, when I first got into the industry, the alphabet soup of intelligent automation, because everything was an acronym, everything was a letter. And if you didn't know what we were talking about, it was kind of hard to keep up. What's next? What do I have to know next, right? A simple example, and some of these guys will talk about it, is the plot twist between OCR and IDP, right? The infusion of AI helped us structure data in a more methodical way as that particular technology began to expand. So if you take a look at some of these acronyms here and pull them together and kind of think through what it is that they mean, what we encourage you to do today is not worry about it, because there's multiple tools for every job, and understanding the underlying technology behind the outcomes isn't the first priority. Your business leaders are looking to see that they're going to get cost savings, that they're going to get efficiencies realized, that they're going to be able to do and serve their clients in a more practical manner, in a more cost-effective manner, without any errors. And that's what machines can do for us today. So while the acronym soup continues to prevail, and the newest add to the mix is BOAT, we are going to continue to do what we have always done, which is lead with value, not with technology. So without further ado, what you guys are here for today, who are our MVPs? And I will invite them real quick. I will stop this screen share and we will get to the fun part of this program. So the first thing that I want to talk about, because I think it's important for the proficiency and the depth and breadth of the type of technologies that we use to be talked about, right? And I think it's important for everybody to understand that there's a multitude of tool sets. And while we don't lead with this, today we will for the sake of discussion. So what I'm going to start off with is these gentlemen are going to introduce what technology that they've become proficient on over the years. And you know what? The hint is they actually know all of them, but they continue to surprise us with their mastery and dominance of specific domains. Again, cultivating their craft so that we can turn to them for expert advice. And then they're going to tell us a little bit about the clients that they serve and examples of some of the healthcare organizations, large banks, retailers, a variety of industries. So I'm going to kick it off and go ahead and start off with Parth. Why don't you say hello to everybody, give us an introduction, tell us a little bit about the tech that you're working on today and the clients you're serving.
Yeah. Thank you, Paula. Hi, everyone. Welcome to the webinar. And it is really great collaborating. I have always loved collaborating with people for any of the work that I do, any of the community events that I do. So yeah, it's going to be an awesome session ahead. So hi, everyone. I'm Parth Doshi. I'm 3 times UiPath MVP. And also, I feel proud to call myself WonderBotz MVP as well. I have been working in the RPA space for almost 3 years now. And in the meantime, I've explored and learned about the different areas of UiPath. My expertise is on UiPath, and since I'm UiPath MVP as well. So there have been times where work has been really interesting, where you get to know that what good impact you can bring with this automation technologies. Day by day, the things are changing and you get that opportunity. So it's been really amazing implementing solutions where you just were implementing traditional RPA a year or two back, and now you see that the possibilities and the capabilities that all the different tools have is just unmatchable. So there are many things that you can do. So that's about me. Thank you.
Thank you so much. So, Jobin, I will turn over to you. And I'm going in and out of spotlight. We have so many MVPs that the bandwidth can't hold it. So I'm going to be going in and out of camera. You guys are going to have to school me on this technology too. So Jobin, introduce yourself, your technology, and who are you helping today?
Yep, sure. First of all, thank you everyone for joining today. So it's a wonderful morning and evening for most of us. So myself, Jobin, I'm working as a technical account manager. I have a total of 11 years of experience in the IT industry, which includes 6+ years in the intelligent automation space. And I'm 2 times UiPath MVP and one time as a WonderBot MVP as well. And when it is coming to my expertise, other than core RPA, I'm more into UiPath Test Suite and UiPath apps. I'm pretty much interested on API integration and CI/CD integration with the UiPath platform. So when it is coming to the work which I am doing on a daily basis, as a technical account manager, I work with various clients throughout the APJ region. I help them to use automations to make their automations more efficient, which means day to day, I give expert advice on best practices and creating customized automation strategies for them. Ideally, my job is to lead the way in achieving excellence in robotic automation, and I am dedicated to making a big impact by helping our clients reaching the outstanding result through the well-optimized automations. Uh, that's all about me. Thank you.
That's fantastic. And one of the things I was going to just boomerang right back to you, and when we did the prep call, they were all a little hesitant and they said, uh-oh, Paula just has questions. But for me, this is just, just as exciting to learn and have a conversation. So right back to you, what made you get into this space? You've obviously found your niche. You obviously like what you do. What made you find the intelligent automation world versus other traditional development paths or technology tracks?
Yep. So I started my journey as an RPA developer, which is a typical RPA developer. But the transition from a typical RPA into intelligent automation is based on a lot of factors. So moving from the traditional RPA into intelligent automation is really essential is nowadays. The reason is while at traditional RPA, automating rule-based or repetitive things, that's end of the story, which is not, we can't say it is an end-to-end automation. When we are into the intelligent automation, it's a step further by integrating the advanced technologies like AI, machine learning, and of course, NLP kind of things. If I go with a simple example, let's say that in RPA, you will be automating a simple thing. When it is coming to the intelligent automation, you will be leveraging AI powered tools. If I'm talking on the UiPath context, communication mining is there, document understanding is there. This kind of product will help to automate the things end to end. So that's one thing. And this intelligent automation will give more efficiency and it will bring more business values.
Yeah, I totally agree. And I think it's so exciting to also be in an industry where you're never stagnant. You're always going to learn something new to plug in, almost like Legos, as we continue to build these transformative projects and programs that we deliver every single day. So Devneet, I'm going to turn to you.
Yep. Thank you, Paula, for conducting this session, and welcome everyone here. So I would introduce myself. My name is Devneet Monty. I'm working as a senior consultant in WonderBotz, and I'm leading the delivery practice for one of the leading US-based trade and asset management clients. I have a total experience of 6 years now in intelligent automation space, and luckily I have been able to work with, like I would say, multiple tools, be it Blue Prism, Automation Anywhere, UiPath, even Microsoft platform, Power Platform, right? I have also worked into multiple industries like BFSI, insurance, retail, marketing, compliance, right, and audit and assurance. Apart from that, I have worked across, I would say, multiple regions. Right now, even for my client, we are kind of scaling the RPA program across multiple regions, I would say. My day-to-day work as a delivery lead kind of includes to firstly communicate with the clients about what RPA is, conduct various road shows. Basically, not just we are right now on RPA, but we are moving more towards intelligent automation as the industry is going towards, right? Here we talk more about how we can integrate solutions, not just on a typical automation perspective, but more on a way towards digital transformation as a whole. Apart from that, my role also includes me to work more on the infrastructure side of the things, to set up the RPA platform, to set up all the tools that are required to get an automation in place. But yeah, that's more about me.
Thanks so much. And with that wide range of technologies that you've dabbled in along the way, is there a place where you've kind of thought, I need to understand the infrastructure so I can better deploy this technology? And then if I understand the foundation, then when the new tools come along, it kind of connects back? Because it sounds like you're quite a dot connector on different technologies and some of those that we showed earlier in the presentation.
Yes, I would say like it's the current need of the industry. I mean, you can't just be one guy, who just is acquainted with one thing. I mean, you can be, but it like if you're going to a client where you, let's say, want to deliver something which is like an end-to-end product, yes, you need someone with, I would say, multiple toolkit in the sense, right? Infrastructure plays a very crucial role, I would say, in all of it, because it is something like sometimes people have just one vision of how a tool or an automation should be integrated, but then it's a different thing when you have to think on a long term, right? Like, okay, if tomorrow I, let's say, have multiple toolkits, right, which will come down the roadmap, then I mean, you need to have all that infrastructure planning. So that is what intrigued me to know more about it, and luckily I got that opportunity as well. We as WonderBotz are kind of helping our clients more into that, right? Like to kind of pinpoint things where we can set up like automation solutions and how we can tackle that, right, with all those infrastructure challenges.
No, I totally agree. I think it's such a crucial part to have that down pat, the foundational level, so that as we scale, grow, add, boat comes along, the new transformative ways we talk about this, our clients are ready and able to receive those and implement them without a hitch. So Tejas, I am going to turn to you. Hello, welcome this morning.
Hey Paula, hi everyone. So thanks Paula. Thanks everyone. I know it's gonna be a lot of insightful things and discussions going to be there. So starting with myself, so I am Tejas Kumar, and I've been in the IT industry about 7 years now, and 5+ years particularly in the RPA. I am particularly working on Blue Prism, but along with the Blue Prism, I have worked on other RPA platforms as well. So that gives me a bit of advantage that, okay, now we all can see, solutions from different perspectives. Along the line, I would say I've been through different roles in the automation industry. I started my journey as an automation tester. I have also done manual testing. So then I stumbled upon the robotics process automation, where, like I looked at a code and then I looked at a robotics process workflow. Then, okay, I was like, okay, the RPA workflow is making sense to me. Okay. And then I basically started like, okay, this is something curious to me. And then basically that's how I started my journey. So yeah, it is gonna be a lot of learnings for me, and yeah, continuously working with the clients, delivering new things, and learning new technologies.
That's so fantastic. So Tejas, tell us a little bit about the current client you're working on and what kind of solutions you're applying at that client site.
Right. So I'm actively working on one of the US retail chains right now, where we are using our pre-built solution WonderBotz. As you know, WonderBotz is a comprehensive end-to-end reporting solution, right? And literally every organization is in need for reporting solutions. So basically, we started off with the small automations, and right now we have so many WonderBotz automations running, which are automating hundreds of reports on daily basis, and working very stable across the years now. So yeah, WonderBotz is one of our pre-built solution that kind of automates end-to-end reporting needs, be it any platform, be it any system. It can accommodate any input and output systems. And apart from the WonderBotz, I'm working for one of the leading satellite service provider in India, where we are automating their day-to-day processes as they are just starting off, right? So I feel like like the new clients who are just starting off with automation, right? So it's something that, I would say they need to see the robots in action to, realize the true potential of intelligent automation. Because until you see the robots in action, you will not realize, right, like what are the advantages it carries. So yeah, that's my day-to-day looks like, Paula.
Yes, no, that's fantastic. And I think and we'll touch on our pre-built solutions in a little bit as well, because I know that's a crucial component of how we deliver value for clients. They don't have to build up a talent pool internally, and we help them plug in solutions that naturally get those outcomes. So again, matching our talent to those outcomes. Thank you so much for that, Tejas. So Amlan, you're up. Tell us a little bit about who you are, what tools you're using, and tell me about a client that you're serving today.
Yeah, sure, Paula. Thanks for the opportunity. Hi, guys. This is Amlan. I am near to 9 years of experience in IT, and near to 7+ years of experience into RPA. I have started my journey when it was typical RPA, and there are hardly 2-3 tools are there. And now from RPA to its intelligent automation, it's a shifting towards intelligent automation. So yeah, I have seen the growth of RPA, how it changed over the years. But yeah, currently I'm working as a senior architect for a internet provider of India. For them, I'm automating their one of the ticket creation process using RPA and both intelligent automation. So for this currently, currently we have taken like Power Automate as the tool because of their generative AI capability. And we have successfully implemented that using RPA plus AI. They wanted to move this from another tool to RPA. So yeah, that's all. That's how I started my journey into AI, and that's how it is going on now. Thanks.
Well, we're so happy to have you. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Aditya, all you.
Hey everyone, so I'm Aditya and I have near about 6 years of experience into the IT industry, all of which is into RPA. I started with core RPA, but then some features came out like document understanding and AI center, which pulled me into this intelligent automation space. And currently, I'll say that even now, the automation industry is transforming and it's moving from IA towards agentic APA, agentic process automation, where we would be leveraging the generative AI models for making some complex decisions right now, which robot cannot make, but that would be able to do that particular task. Moreover, currently, like I'm working with one of the healthcare client in which I'm building an AI-based model for them, which would be able to answer the queries of the agents whosoever would be going ahead and asking like, hey, what does this particular thing do? Whether I should be prescribing this particular medicine to that particular person. And that bot should be able to answer that up basis on the data which is provided to them. So I feel that APA is going to bring a major change and AI is going to be a huge helping hand in that.
I completely agree. So you mentioned a buzzword that is starting to percolate in our industry, in all of the marketing forums that I'm in with our, competitors, with our partners, and that is agentic. Agentic. You said agent. So as we we kind of do a full circle motion of automation that's for the enterprise grade, enterprise scale, and some tools that have come along like autopilot. Microsoft is making a few swings at it. So what would you say about how you think that's going to change, in the coming days with, automation that we have, like our, stoic pre-built solutions, some of the back office stuff, some of the transformation in the front office? It's going to look a little different, don't you think? Tell us a little bit about the agentic models.
So the agentic models are going to help each and everyone in a different way. I'll say previously people were afraid of using even RPA that they would eat their jobs. But I'll say that that's not the case. We would have to help them transition slowly from this particular point to that particular point. And they then we have a concept called as human in the loop, which should be slowly eradicated and it could be replaced with the agentic processes. So whatever parts that human is doing right now, it would be doable using those particular agents, be it Copilot or Autopilot, or let's say any particular LLM model which is coming on. It's just give it the right training and it would be able to do it.
Yeah, no, I think that's going to revolutionize it. And it's so easy to conceptualize because you're talking to it. You don't have to understand what the underlying code is. So for business users, that's just going to transform the way that even they can interact with technology in a way that's just completely different. Everything, we said that it's low code, no code. We've been talking about that, but let's be honest, it's always code, right? And now finally we're getting to a point where people like me who don't code can interact, can create things, and my process mind can actually be put to work to connect the dots in a throughput way. So it's been really, really fantastic to see that change. And we'll probably see more to come, and we'll probably be doing a session on that once that hits the waves as well. So I saved the P's for last. Pranav, how about you?
Hey everyone, thanks Paula, thanks everyone for joining the session. So my journey was little different, I would say. I've started my career with RPA tool, nothing else. So like it's been 7+ years in this industry, RPA industry. So it started something like that when I got my first project. I was working in an Excel file, and that day it took around 5+ hours to work on that Excel. So that day itself, I felt like I am not made to do this kind of work. And that time, RP industry was very new. So I was intrigued to know like something which I can do, which makes me more human instead of doing this mundane task. And this is where UiPath, which was providing free academy that time with free certification, which also make me more interested to go into this field and start uh, going to the demos and all those things. And I was the one who bring that technology to the company because of that, because it was giving community edition for 1 year and you can implement some POCs. So this is how I entered into this field. And when I see my 7 years of journey, it was so interesting that from that day where I was more focused on the core API, core RPA's job to test automation suite, to now working as a process mining BA in UiPath, and also like 2 times being a 2 times UiPath MVP and 1 time from WonderBotz MVP. I felt so grateful that I reached to this stage where now I feel it knowing the core RPA is the best part that you can do it. But now if you can't take that skill and add AI, machine learning, deep learning into this capability, and this is where process mining comes into picture, where you can actually see which things can be automatable. And now when I talk to client, I see the bigger picture. Just I'm not solving one thing, and which makes me more interested to my job. And this is how I see. So my day-to-day work, if you ask me, so it involves more like interacting with the clients, different stakeholders, working with the UiPath process mining tool, finding some inefficiencies, going through the data, working with the process mining consultants, and seeing the maximum benefit that I can provide to the team. So this is how the day-to-day work look like for me.
That's fantastic. Well, we love having you aboard. So welcome to the team, and your expertise has just been invaluable in the process and task mining as people begin to uncover new opportunities to automate and new places where an AI use case would make sense. So the screen's shifting a little bit, but last but not least, I have Pradeep. Where'd you go? There you are. Okay.
Yeah, hi Paula. Good morning and good morning, good evening, everyone. Thanks for inviting me for this session, Paula. So this is Pradeep. So I have 7+ years of experience in RPA. So even I started my career as a just traditional RPA developer. So we know how nowadays how RPA is moving. So nowadays there is no RPA, like there is no traditional RPA. It's moving to the intelligent automation. That's the same way. Every year I am improving my skills and doing different kinds of projects like traditional RPA to doing some kind of document processing, then doing some intelligent automations, then implementing some different kinds of API related automation. So it's involved in the same way. So every year we are learning something. So now I am working for one of the major banking client. So here I am working as an intelligent automation lead. So my day by day tasks are like I am doing kind of feasibility checking. So whichever the traditional RPA projects we have it and how we can convert that projects using intelligent automation and how that particular clients will get more profits when they are converting their automations. And that's how it's going. So, and I want to say I am a two-time MVP. So, and one-time MVP for the WonderBotz.
That's fantastic. No, thank you so much for that. And so I'm going to shoot it right back to you. So we talked a little bit about different organizations at different stages in their journey, right? And it's hard for us to imagine, an organization that hasn't implemented, RPA, or hasn't even thought through an automation ad of any kind, even if they're, dabbling with Power Automate, figuring out how to just upgrade from Excel macros, to something basic. Yeah. So to us, we're just like, how is it that somebody hasn't automated, right? How's an organization not automated? So I'm going to ask all of you to chime in on, and I'll start with you, Pradeep, right back at you, is what advice would you give to those, that small but very, very available population who has not yet adopted automation into their organization? What are some of the hints? What are some of the tips from experience helping clients get started that you would give to those who have not yet started?
Sure. So whichever the clients they want to start their RPA journey. So nowadays we know, so they don't want to start their journey by their own. So whichever the AI products we have it, these AI products is not only for the development. So we can use these products when they can do the discover phase also, right? So when they can use that particular products in the discover phase, they'll get to know like what kind of automation they can start. At least they'll get some kind of idea. So how we can go that with that particular ideas and what kind of profit they can get it for the long term, right? So based on that, just let them start the scenario for the RPA. So based on that, we don't want to go alone. Our intelligent automation can take care of ourselves also when we are doing the RPA journey. Yeah, that's how it will go.
All right, and I'll kick it over to you, Parth. What do you think about that one?
Yep. So for that, Paula, I will relate it to like in any case, if we want to start doing something new or start learning something new, we'll start with the basic things. We will not just go ahead and do all things at once, right? So it's not only about automating the process, but I think the organization as a whole comes into the picture when we talk about an organization starting their intelligent automation journey. It can be the finance department, the operations department, the leadership, and everyone. So what I will suggest is all of them come together, identify where the actual need is of automation, which are the that can be picked up for the automations, choosing the right technology partner, I think, and we as WonderBotz can definitely help in that. And I would say start with pilot automations. Don't just start automating all the complex processes that are there within the organization, but start small, do some POCs, have pilot automations, see how it benefits, what is the ROI, and there could be many different things that could be considered in that. So start small, start with pilot automations, and then slowly over the period of time scale big.
No, I think that's very good advice. So Devneet, jump in on that one. You with the depth and breadth, and I'd love you to focus on the infrastructure too. I think that's a tricky one that we don't often talk about enough. But if somebody is starting off, how would you advise them to start off with the infrastructure? Thinking that through, is it a cloud first mindset? Tell us a little bit about the thought process of someone new to intelligent automation.
Definitely. What I think is, like when we talk about automation as a whole, right, it's just not one part of the puzzle, right? It's like technology team, security team, your, I would say the IT, the core IT team, right? And also your business stakeholders, right? They all need to come together, right? The very first thing when you decide whether you want to go to on-prem, you want to go to cloud, right? The crucial thing that plays is the governance, the data integrity, right? Like which client would be more comfortable in having their data hosted on a cloud platform, right? Now, it depends from industry to industry, right? Sometimes you would need your, let's say, RPA vendors, right, to come in to the discussion, basically explain what their security certification compliances look like, right? You need to organize all that, I would say, call with the security team of your clients as well. And then when you all come together on a common page, right, that is when you decide first, right, how we can go around it, right? Should it be cloud? Should it be on-prem? Now, sometimes I have seen in many of the clients that they won't readily go to cloud. So it can be more like a phase-wise thing, right? You start with on-prem, you prove it out, right? Like how the RPA program is going on, right? Because every year, I mean, the vendors will be adding on more and more, I would say, features around their security, right? So yeah, I would say slowly it's more like a practice. Okay. So once you start proving things out, things get comfortable, people get comfortable, right? That is how you basically buy in that confidence, right? And that's when you basically scale it to that particular setting, right? Coming to the infra side of things, one very major role that I would say takes place is you need to know the requirements very well, right? Like how you plan it, like you need to have a vision. Firstly, I would always suggest every organization to have like a long-term vision where you want to see yourself after, let's say, 4 years, 5 years, right? And then kind of break it into short-term goals, right? Okay, now you have translated it. Okay, so I start with this, right? You maybe start with a small infra setup, right? You prove it out, you get the buy-in, you get the budget, you get all of the things going together, and then I would say, like gradually keep on adding components, keep on growing it up, right? That's how I would say like that maturity comes into place, and then you convert your RPA team more into a COE, right? Like a center of excellence, right? That is where we eventually want to go at.
Yeah, I think that's great advice. And Tejas, if you could chime in too, because you saw this client that you described working on with WonderBotz go from 0 to hero, right? And going from not having anything implemented to scaling out a solution, a few times over and considering some of those changes. So tell us a little bit about some of the considerations that they make, day one versus, upon renewal.
Right. So when it comes to the pre-built solutions, right? So then, as we all know, it's out of the box solution, right? You have all the things ready. You just need to configure it and then start running it. So basically, when any new client starts with the pre-built solution, basically the initial efforts are gone, right? The code is already there, the framework is already there. It's just we need to configure and start using it. So basically, time to return, I mean, the time to ROI, right? That reduces drastically. So when they start with the pre-built solution, okay, they are not aware that okay, how we need to configure these, or maybe how would I tweak something here and there, right? So as soon as we deployed, we start making the changes, and then the client starting realize that okay, then I just wanted to add this thing, and then it was just a configuration driven, right? I'm not gonna touch the code, and it's just a configuration file driven, right? And that is when they start realizing that okay, then it is something a black box for them, and then just simply configuring or tweaking a configuration file which is outside your RPA environment, and then boom, it starts working with the new changes. So those kind of things, when clients start realizing, they understand the value of the pre-built solutions, and over the years, then it builds the confidence that, right, okay, we have automated like 10 reports last year, then yeah, we are ready to scale to 100 reports, or maybe the 1,000 reports that we can automate, because they have that confidence that okay, now if something is working very well from years, and it's gonna definitely work for the future. So yeah.
No, and I think that that's such an important part of our value system and methodology, right? Is that our pre-built solutions were before no code, low code was cool. We gave business users the ability to have a solution ready-made that all they had to do was make the changes to adapt to their environment and or their requirements. And so without having to use a tool that they're uncomfortable with, learn how to code, take UiPath Academy or Blue Prism Academy, insert your tool here. Clients were able to, to really get the benefit, right? And so we've since created several pre-built solutions in the back office because clients kept asking for the same thing, and once you automate an invoice processing, solution and throughput, they're all the same, matching invoices is matching invoices, right? And so our clients began to see that they could ingest these pre-built solutions, realize maximum value, and then continue to scale. So I think that's such a powerful story of adoption, and it helped them not even have to build a center of excellence, really, right? They leverage WonderBotz in a lot of different capacities. Our clients do. We meet them where they want to engage, right? And so I think that's a special part of our business model too. So guys, there were several questions that came in. So in the interest of time, we will give your contact information to everybody, your LinkedIn profiles at the very least. So for those of you still on, you'll be able to ask them questions. There's a couple of things that we wanted to get through, but I'd rather get to the questions that people that registered asked, you know, and make sure that we get those addressed as well. Some great questions that have come along, and we haven't really spent much time on AI, and I think that's what's on everyone's mind, right? So let's get to it. All right, so question number one. Nowadays, AI is getting very evolved. AI agents becoming more canvassed when it comes to automation. What is your insight on AI agents? Are RPA vendors capable of putting this together? We kind of touched on it there. I'd like somebody else to answer. Let's go with you, Jobin. And then a couple of you answer. I've got about 6 questions, so we'll each take 2. We'll take 2 per question, okay? Jobin, starting with you.
When we are talking about the agentic process automation, the first thing we should think about the capability of large language models. So ideally, this is something to manage and executing the complex task. So as Aditya mentioned, something like a human-like intelligence, right? So when we are talking about this thing, identifying the right AI agent will be the crucial part. So because if you are not choosing the right AI agent, it will be a problem. So we should be in a position to choose the right agent. Then everything will be working smoothly, and it will be oversee the workflows in a dynamic manner. So that's something I can tell here.
Yeah, no, I think that's spot on. All right. Well, we're seeing transformations not just in contact centers, right? You would think typically that that'd be the hot spot, and we're actually seeing some fantastic use cases of internal teams being able to communicate, you know, get information from HR, you know, find out how many sick days they have left. You know, it runs the gamut of the different types of places where automation can essentially triage and communicate back to different source systems and you know, and the employees. So for employee connectivity all the way to the end user, this technology is really going to transform. I think in the next 3 to 6 months, we'll really see where they begin to where it begins to pop. So another one here, a lot of folks are asking about RPA to AI, right? So when we're doing that, the adoption of third-party tools, and I understand that because I study all the tools of, you know, who we want to partner with, and there's a million AI companies out there now. It gets very difficult for the consumer to understand what it is they need and how they need it, right? So this question comes from the place of, if I'm going to journey from RPA to an AI center of excellence, what are some of the skills and some of the talent that I need to have to be able to make that shift?
I can take that answer. Yeah. So I will say that first very important thing that plays a role is, right, just to know what your business requirements are as of now. I mean, right now where your processes stand, right? Once you identify all of that, right, then you basically go and tackle on, okay, how you can integrate these AI solutions, right? Now, many of the RPA vendors themselves are right now providing integration with OpenAI, let's say, right? There are activities, there are packages that are coming in, right? So you first get, I would say, get on towards it, right? Like first going on a POC stage, right? Prove it out, right? How things are going in. You also have to consider things like, right? Like when, like, let's say a hallucination happens, right? Like, let's say there are instances when AI may not give you the exact right answer that you want, right? That's where you need to have some sort of reviewing stage, like a human in loop or a review process, right? You need to test it out with the prompts. You need to kind of retrain the prompts. You need to kind of make them, I would say, stabilized. For one of our projects specifically, we did it. So we had like a project where we had to kind of integrate AI with some of the documents that were getting downloaded for a vendor. And these were mostly contractual documents that were there. So our client wanted, so the first phase of the automation was to just download these documents from the vendor, right? When we did that, they wanted more intelligence on top of it. They wanted that, okay, now you have downloaded it. Let's get some questions answered, right? Like what's the contract date? What's the next action item, right? Based on those contracts. Now, what we did was we rolled out a solution. We rolled out one of the OpenAI APIs. We integrated it with our RPA solution. We pushed it out to production, right? But we, again, had some sort of a human in loop there just to see how does it go, right? So initially, the accuracy was not that good. But then slowly, when we figured out, okay, where these inaccuracies are happening, we modified the prompts, right? We had some retraining pipelines there with our data science team. They basically, when they modeled it out, Right now we are at an accuracy of around, I would say, 85%, which is pretty good, I would say, like from where we started, right? So that maturity needs to develop over time. You need to have those governance policies around it.
Yeah, no, I think that's spot on. And you mentioned something very important there, our data engineer team. So the skills of tomorrow and the teams that we need to validate what we're putting together in an AI ready center of excellence is different than what we talked about 10 years ago. So it's crucial to understand the talent required to actually execute and get these outcomes in-house. Does anybody else want to add on the journey from going from RPA to AI? I think we in prep too, we talked a little bit about how sometimes not every answer needs to be AI too. So anybody want to comment on that real quick?
Yeah, that is really a point also to be considered, that do you really need AI? Like, we need to identify if that is going to really benefit us. There can be some things that can also be done without AI and without creating the without adding the complexity to that. So that is the reason when I gave my previous answer as well, the pilot automations or the POCs are the best way to judge that if you would really need AI models or third-party AI tools integration. And yeah, so that's it for.
I think
And
that's a
for
good
the
way. Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
just to add on the same what Parth was about to tell. So here we have also seen it that most of the clients, when they wanted to implement something, they wanted to start as a discovery, and then they use like some inefficiencies you find it in our existing processes. So they use some discovery platform. But in reality, the kind of data that we need to give them the result was not available. So when we have our initial call, when we have business workshop, technical workshop, so we keep on telling that the inefficiencies or bottlenecks that you are mentioning is not the right candidate. So not every time if you bring a new product like process mining will give you the results. No, there is no need for it until unless it's better to use something like discovery services, and then you invest so much on the tools licenses. So no, that's the right point, that we don't every time need AI.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. So I'll throw out, there's 3 more questions, guys, and I think we can get through it. I think we can get through it. Yeah.
Before we go to that question, I find one question in the chat very interesting from Michael. Can we take that?
That's exactly the one that I was going to ask. So you can go ahead and take that. So for everybody who can't see the chat, understanding the different types of talent outside of core technologies, that's foundational and important, as automation professionals. You read my mind part. That's the one I was going to go to.
Yep. Yeah. Thanks, Paula. And yeah, thanks, Michael, for asking that question. And I will talk for myself. So what I think other than technologies is important is whenever I'm working on an automation, we define this is how we will build a solution. But when I actually build it, I always try to identify multiple ways of doing a similar thing. That is something that I value or that I consider a highly valuable skill, because if you just get stuck with one solution or one approach, then it becomes restricted. You might not know that there is a better way of doing it, or when you talk to people. So what I will do is I will build something. I will ask to my colleagues, Aditya, Pradeep, Jobin, anyone, that do you think this is the best solution for it, or we can have some other approach? So that is one thing that as a automation professional everyone should do, is try to find different ways of doing a similar thing. And definitely the logical skills are important, the way you define your solution. And there is always possibility that what you might not know, someone might have already done it. So talk to people, asking the questions and collaborating with your team, and asking the questions on the right time. I think in this session as well, questions are the more important part rather than the answers. The answers are coming when there are right questions being asked, right? So I think that are some non-technical skills I would say very important as an automation professional.
Thank you so much for that, Parth. And Michael, hopefully that answered your question. Pranav, would you like to chime in on that one?
Yeah, no, I want to just add to the same which Parth just mentioned. Like apart from this, any solution that we are building and anyone is building, we have to very careful how scalable the solution is when we are implementing it next time, and how feasible it is when we are thinking for the long-term perspective. Another thing, collaboration skills, problem solving skills. These are a must for anyone apart from any technical skills that whichever technology you take it. So I would highly recommend anyone to be more cross-functional team, understanding which team, when to connect, because you never know when you have to reach to other team for any kind of need. So cross-functionality, team knowledge, collaboration skills are a must in today's age.
I couldn't agree more. And I think the future skill set of tomorrow is the prompters. So I think I'm going to be an awesome developer, you guys. Watch out, because I'm very good at explaining it in layman's terms, but not necessarily coding it. So everybody watch out. I might be an MVP when we get to prompt. So a couple questions. UiPathers, this one's for you. Can we use UiPath Autopilot in Desktop Studio? Is there something that's going to change in the future pipeline? Or do we see something from the orchestrator upgrade helping us with AI? One of my UiPathers. Jump in on that.
I'll take that one. So as you are talking about the autopilot is available in some of the platforms right now. You may be seeing that in test suite, in apps. These are all now pushed into general availability. And also autopilot has been a part of Studio Desktop just for a small portion of evaluating expressions or generating expressions right now. And soon there's a roadmap which will, I guess, by the end of this year, you should be able to get autopilot for everyone inside your assistant, which should be able to help you out in every cases.
Yeah, no,
Aditya,
that's awesome. Yeah,
I would
please
like
jump
to
in.
add some more thing on the studio. So if you are leveraging the test suite product, and if you're a big fan of coded automation and you're thinking that you want to generate it by leveraging the autopilot, yes, that you can still use it on the studio desktop application.
Awesome. No, thank you for that tactical answer. All right. One question that came in here through the chat. How do you choose the right RPA or automation platform between UiPath, BP, and AA? And I will preface this by saying, we do partner with all, and every single platform has its capabilities, its specialties, and its reasons to be used. So we've got a depth and breadth here of all the different technologies. So who would like to take that one? How do you think through the technology platform?
Paula, why do I think that you should only answer this question? Since
Because
you
because you're very smart. So the only thing that I would say is basically what I alluded to, right? Is that there's not one size fits all, and there's different cost prohibitive nature of it. There's different models. So for example, if you don't want to touch any of all of this that these guys have talked about, the orchestrator, and understand how to apply things, you can certainly leverage the tools through an MSP model, which is something that WonderBotz launched 1.5 years ago. And it's given everybody the opportunity to benefit from multiple technologies. Here's another hint. There's a lot of organizations that have all three in-house, because different types of lines of business prefer different technologies and or have the skill set in-house for different technologies. So it's not uncommon that you have multiple platforms. It's not uncommon that you even throw in Power Automate to that mix too, and maybe there's a piece of it that's being automated that way. So it's not about the tool, which is why we wanted to bring this webinar together of the different MVPs from across the gamut of RPA. It's about matching talent to outcomes. If you hire somebody that's building your COE and they happen to know Blue Prism, might make sense to go with Blue Prism. You don't have a learning curve, right? Similarly, if you acquire a company and they had a UiPath install, might make sense to roll with UiPath. So I think there's a different answer for each time. And some of these RPA platforms have just evolved in such a way that you really need to figure out where you're going. I think that's the advice you guys have given all day today, is start small, but you got to have a vision. And if your vision includes some of the platform functionality of a particular tool, roll with it. But we don't often get that question of which one is which. So in the last 2 minutes, guys, we have one more question that I think is important. Maybe some of you can chime in. So when it comes to different technologies outside of RPA, right? Not necessarily AI, not necessarily a document understanding or document automation, the reading. What is another type of technology that nobody really talks about? Is there something that that you guys use? Maybe it's not so often, but it has power that you'd like to introduce to everybody today?
I would like to answer that one, right?
Perfect.
So I would say one thing that is not too often talked about, that everyone should know, is about scripting languages, I would say. And it is very much essential, and I'll tell you why. Because I have worked with tools. I mean, I was at a time when I used to work with, let's say, Automation Anywhere. There was a time, right? There were not many capabilities, I mean, in terms of some activities that I wanted, right? So we, again, integrated some VB script code. We integrated some Python-based code, right? And that is what did the work. Now, I will also tell you one more fun fact, right? One thing that I've also observed is, like, sometimes when you use, let's say, a certain type of a package or an activity which a RPA vendor gives you, sometimes it really works good, right? But we have seen sometimes when you use some external scripting language, you get a very fast result. Happened with me. I mean, we had like a use case. I'll give you a very real example where we had to process like 3 lakhs of records, and that too on an Excel file, which is, I would say, a very common use case if you go to like an industry for, let's say, finance, for example, right? So we had to, I mean, read all of that data and just dump it out, right, into one file. Trust me, when we did it through, I mean, one of the RPA tools, it took us around like 3 hours, or even I would say 4 hours to get it done, right? But when we use scripting, I mean, just a simple VB script, okay? And that was no secret magic. Again, my stakeholders are very surprised how it worked, right? You won't believe it took us really like around 30 minutes to do the same thing. So again,
Wow.
it's a wonderful thing that you can have, I mean, in your toolkit.
That's fantastic. And I think we can't forget the original tools, right? Don't knock Excel. It's one of the oldest softwares out there. We're still using it, right? There's a lot of other places that we can connect. So thank you for everybody who asked these great questions, who attended. I know that we don't have enough time with these guys. I think we're going to have to do a part 2, but our clients would probably kill me if I asked for another hour from them. So I'm not sure if we'll be able to do that anytime soon. But gentlemen, thank you so much for your time, your wisdom, your expertise. You guys really are the heartbeat of our organization, and we're so proud of you, and we thank you so much for showing up and learning every single day. Their contact information is here, and as mentioned prior, we will be sending out a recap of the webinar. You'll also see several, as we call them, snacks with a Z, from different things that these guys have shared today, so that you guys can continue to take, absorb, and learn as you begin to find your way on this digital transformation journey we're all on. So thank you so much, everybody. Have a wonderful morning, evening, wherever it is that you're tuning in from. And look out for marketing emails from WonderBotz for the next webinar. We'll be talking about testing next month. All right. Thanks so much, everybody. Have a beautiful day.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you for
you.
joining.